maybe a diamond ring.
Well, it's all right, even if they say you're wrong. Well, it's all right. Sometimes you gotta be strong. Well, it's all right, as long as you got somewhere to lay. Well, it's all right. Every day is Judgment Day.
Maybe somewhere down the road away,
At the end of the line,
you'll think of me and wonder where I am these days.
at the end of the line,
Maybe somewhere down the road when somebody plays
at the end of the line.
Purple Haze.
Well, it's
Well. Another defeat for Thomas Frank's Tottenham. I don't think anyone is really surprised of that result yesterday. Let's be honest. The writing was on the wall, wasn't it? Bournemouth haven't won for 11 games and they were overdue a victory, especially Semedo's last game, and of all people, getting a winner with a fantastic finish. Many Spurs fans have said that it was a better performance against Bournemouth. I mean, the floor is low, right? I call a better performance a victory. 3 points, not defending like that. Terrible defending. And, you know, we all thought Frank would, you know, improve the defence, but it's still shaky, very, very shaky. You can see 3 goals against a Bournemouth side who are really struggling, missing key players, a lot of uncertainties in their club, and yeah, you know the story. You don't need me to go over it. Look, for me, you know, a lot of fans are kind of a bit lost. You know, don't know where this is all really gonna go. I think the majority of the fan base obviously understand that, you know. Even if you're kind of, you don't want to change the manager, but, you know, and I get it because you can't keep changing managers, but when something is so bad, we know what ends up happening. The manager will lose his job, and, you know, it's based on results, and the results are just not good enough, sitting 14th in the league. Another missed opportunity to climb up the league. We've been missing those opportunities all season, and the football is it's not good enough under Thomas Frank. You know, a manager is supposed to improve a team. It's supposed to kind of get the most out of the team, and as a collective, no one's getting better. And every game goes on, the more we start looking at these players and questioning their abilities as players, and, you know, they're dropping, aren't they, our kind of opinions on all these players, and then you start questioning it. We need a new right back, we need a new centre back, we need new midfielders, we need left back. You know, you could go through the whole team and say, look, we need quality replacements for them all. Obviously we can't clear them all out. That's just not realistic. So again, it's, you know, what do Spurs do here? For me, it's not that complicated. It's not. It's really not. A lot of people are thinking, well, there's no ideal manager out there who can come in and take the job. There's better football managers out there in the world who Spurs could hire, pay a lot of money, and they could come in and improve this Tottenham side. It doesn't end there, of course. Signings are key. You know, there's certain key players that we lack in this team that, you know, if we added to them, we would realistically, it's not going to be done in January, but in the summer, you know, this Spurs side can be a good side. We can turn it round with a good manager, a good vision, backing from the board. Spurs can turn this around. You know, previous seasons under Enoch, Levy, you know, we've had managers pick up poor performing teams and to build them up again, and, you know, give us a respectable team on the pitch, a team that attacks well, gives us some excitement, scores some goals, wins games, wins London derbies, gives your biggest rivals tough games, and try and win a cup, try and get into Europe, and that's the kind of starting point now. What we want to get back before really challenging. Yes, we've got to start again somewhere, and under Thomas Frank, we're nowhere near it. Although points wise in the league, you probably could climb back up that table, say 3-4 wins in a row. Trouble is this Spurs side under Thomas Frank is not going to do it. It's not. It's fallen away massively under Thomas Frank, and the poor performances have continued from last season. And for me and Frank, both managers weren't good enough for Tottenham Hotspur, in my opinion, and we need a manager better than those two to come in, a strong head who's going to speak to the board, stand up to the board, who's going to have that kind of aura about him that the players respect. The players believe in whatever philosophy he wants to play for Spurs to win football matches. So, we have the FA Cup coming up on Saturday. We lose that, pressure's going to mount even more on Thomas Frank. And I'm sure you've all seen that run coming up in February onwards, which is very tough. And under Frank, I can't see us picking up many points. So we will be 16th, 17th, 15th, whatever, near that bottom of the table. Teams will pull away. And when people talk about, we haven't got the quality of player, just look at Brentford. Yeah, Brentford, 5th in the league under Keith Andrews, losing key players in the summer, and are doing better than Spurs. And Brentford do not have a better squad than Spurs. Look, injuries play a part in poor form. I understand that. Missing certain players throughout the season is going to impact performances. It hasn't helped Frank. But we're just so terrible under Thomas Frank, and that nothing's improved or improving. It's only going to end one way with Thomas Frank. So what did this board do? Do they make a decision now in January? Can they find a manager that can come in and lead the team forward? If they can't, maybe they have to wait till summer. Maybe they have to look at an interim manager. They need a solution. They do, because the season could completely fall away. We're still in the Champions League, still in the FA Cup, but I don't know if there's going to be any change now and the weekend. So, if a new manager comes in, he may get the end of January to get a couple of signings, and then his task is to push that Spurs team back up that league and try and qualify for European football. And give the fans back some hope and some belief back in the side, and show us and prove to us that these players are not as bad as we've seen over the last couple of seasons. There's no guarantees that a new manager comes in, fixes it all. It's not an overnight fix. This season is turning into a kind of, it is transitional under Frank, but bringing another manager in, it's really transitional, isn't it, guys? So for me, look, I'm frustrated like everybody. Am I angry? I've kind of lost that anger now. I'm resigned to that. Under Thomas Frank, it's just not very good, and for me, it's all kind of on the board now. Vinay, the board members, whoever's making the decisions to fix this, and they can fix it if they want to. So we'll wait and hear, right? And the pressure will be put on them from Change for Tottenham. I've seen the letter sent to them about signings and promises, and we've all seen what Christian Romero's come out and said last night, which is basically calling out the board. Talking about lies. It's crazy. It's a bit of a mad thing to come out for him to come out and say. He's pushing a responsibility I don't think even on the manager, it's the people above. And I don't know how that's going to go down with him. I really don't. The club will have to deal with it internally. Obviously, we all like to hear this, don't we, from what Romero's saying. Pushing it back on the board, because it's right, it's true, it is. And I don't know what that will do, but this board, ENIC, new management team, they got to wake up. They've got to wake up and take control of this this situation. We're falling away. We really are. We're in a desperate state. Spurs are going to struggle to sell tickets. The boos are going to continue in the ground. Yeah, there's a lot of anger in the fan base, a lot of frustration, a lot of people are resigned to just another wasted season. And blame is directed everywhere, from players to manager to board. And, we all know what's been said and what everybody's been saying, what we've all been saying about the troubles with Tottenham. This is just years and years of neglect, isn't it, from Levy and ENIC? And it happened last season where it all came to a head and we got away with it by winning the Europa League. But that only papered over the cracks at Tottenham Hotspur. They've been, cutting corners, not spending money at all well. We've still got the wage structure issue that we can't attract the top players because we won't pay the top wages. And until all these sort of things are solved, Spurs' problems will continue. And yes, another manager could come in and get that hope back at Spurs. But, if Spurs really, really want a challenge, which we all want them to do, and get back, like under Poch when we came near, didn't we? We were, technically, we weren't in one of the title races, but we did finish in the top four, finished second and third, which is not normal for Spurs, especially in my lifetime. Can we get back to that point? Investment, recruitment is so crucial to get back to that point. But for me right now, it's now looking ahead to find the right manager for Tottenham, and that recruitment massively needs to be improved. Directors of football need a massive improvement. You look at Aston Villa and what they've done. They brought in a really talented manager in Emery, giving him time, giving him money, giving him players. And it just shows you that, with that, you can turn the club around and put it on an upward trajectory, which we all want as fans. So that's all I've got to say in this video. Please leave your comments, smash the like button, subscribe if you're new here. And we'll see what happens on Saturday, 5:30, FA Cup against Villa. Picked up more injuries tonight. Bergvall went off, Bentancur went off. Squad's quite getting quite thin bare now. No closer to any signings coming in. Part of me thinks that maybe that is because, they are thinking of replacing Frank and they're holding back on that recruitment side until they make a decision if they're going to keep him for the season or they're going to sack him. I don't know. I don't have the answers. That's just what I think. But anyway, guys, catch you all soon. Enjoy the rest of your week. And come on, you Spurs.